take a shot here of the black and white. I like it.
They come in some other colors, but
so
it's a fun one to bring to the show.
This is the first time they're shown in America.
Correct.
They get a little light on them. So what's the basic drivers being used? Type of drivers being?
So this guy's a 3-way. It's got a side firing 10, and then two
Side firing down here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And 2 8s for the mid bass. And there's a couple things that Amphion does a bit differently. These guys are out of Finland. They're a studio company.
Okay.
So they, a lot of the popular music you listen to was made with their pro equipment. And one of the things they do different is they use a 1.6 crossover frequency on the treater. And what that does for you is it takes the vocal range and it makes it without any break.
Gotcha.
Trying to hand it off between the drivers. So the voice is just super natural. If you look at these dimples on the side, that's actually part of the venting system for the midwoofers.
Oh yeah, actually yeah.
And it helps in the room. It creates kind of a cardioid pattern.
Gotcha.
And it takes the sidewalls more out of the equation. So
yeah, it's for the woofers, venting. And then you got two
cool,
ports.
But it has a real function that, especially if you drop these into rooms down here with glass, concrete, hardwood floors.
Form follows function. Yeah.
It has less sonic effect on it. And then this is a brand new amp from Esoteric too. This integrated as the new F02. It is a Class AB design, 120 watts a side. It features some trickle-down technology in their preamp from the Grandioso series that we have next door.
Very attractive. And the pedigree of Esoteric, long-standing in the industry.
Absolutely, and NO5XD, that's not a new piece, but one thing very unique about Esoteric is they do all of their DACs themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They're using their master discrete DAC technology, 64-bit, and all the whole range.
Cool.
So this is $11,000 where their streamer preamp lineup starts.
Really cool. All right, well let's just listen to it. Is this the best seat or that one?
I'd say both are good, but that's probably a little. You think so?
Well, yeah, because it seemed like you'd be a little bit closer on that front, but
I like the way the bass loads are a little better. But I think they're both really good.
Well, since nobody's here, I guess this will be good. Yeah, I can get everything in the.
Yeah, we play a couple partial cuts here.
Van Halen cover. Nice. Like it.
Something with those vocals we talked about.
Oh yeah, Liberty.
Our bodies are hurting like hell. They promise to never leave. leave us alone. Our hearts are breaking like bones. They're picking stars like apples from the sky, threatening to throw them in the sea, so we won't have anything to gaze upon. What happened to liberty and the bridges we almost got done? What happened to that? Was going to take us home? Dreams are breaking like glass.
So Ansi just came in. He is the owner. and
Oh,
CEO
how you doing?
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Amphion, nice to
Very impressive.
Thank you,
I've
sir.
heard this song a million times. So,
Something there.
yeah, it's extremely high level performance, especially for this room where you don't even have a lot of treatments. Yeah. So, the delicacy of her voice combined with horns and the bass, it's a good test track where you can concentrate on certain things without being overwhelmed. So, and it can bring out the nuances of which speakers have that coherency and the drivers that make you feel like you're listening to a real voice versus some kind of
There's
reproduction.
a lot of good dimensionality as well, which of course doesn't come.
Yeah, and in a big room, you put these probably even more imaging. But yeah, what are we talking about price wise for these?
24,000.
Okay, yeah, it's a lot of speaker for the money. Yeah, very high performance. Very impressed. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was curious, can you
There's my car.
Okay, yeah, great.
can you tell us a little bit about the dispersion pattern there? Because I heard Rob speaking about it earlier.
Sure.
But was that something that your idea? Is that something that you came up with, or?
We can go through the
Yeah,
basics.
yeah, let's
I
go
mean,
ahead.
The funny thing of speaker building is that people talk about 20 hertz to something, 20, 30, 40,000 hertz, but nobody talks about the fact that the human hearing is not actually linear.
Right.
We have a so-called critical hearing range between 2,000 to 5,000 hertz. And the reason for that is that human hearing, the hearing was not given to us for fun. It was actually given to us as a survival tool.
Right.
So if we didn't hear where the danger came, we were in trouble.
Right.
The funny thing is, the first thing I always look when I look at the speaker I don't know is where did the manufacturer put the tweeter crossover point? Did they put it inside this hearing or this area where our hearing is most precise? Or did they put it elsewhere? I mean, if they put it inside, like happens 89% of the cases, you kind of wonder, was this made for human ears or for measuring microphones? I mean, we don't see a chair manufacturer putting a seam in the middle of the cushion. They always hide it to the side.
Right.
And this is what we do with the waveguide. We use the amplification effect of the waveguide so that we can lower the crossover point to be below this critical hearing range of 1,600 hertz. And what then happens, of course, we can use the tweeter with the lowest possible mass, which of course we can control in a totally superior manner that we ever could the mid-range, where we have 50, maybe 100 times the moving mass. So therefore you get this very fast transients, good imaging, etc. Also, another thing I don't understand about speaker building is that why do so many people put the tweeter on the same level with the woofers in the baffle? Because what happens then, if you take these drivers out, woofer is like this and tweeter is like this. So why create that time difference when you could actually have them time coherent by moving.
Right. They think that
Bring it
you're
back.
you got to do it by the voice coil, not by the by the
yes.
front of the
Yeah,
driver. Right.
exactly. Also, one thing which is very, very important if you want to do a speaker that works in wide range of acoustics and is easy to place is you need to make sure that the dispersion is even. And this is of course another thing we do with the waveguide. We make sure that the dispersion is very wide through, very even throughout the wide frequency band.
Okay.
And also a good tip, if you're looking for the next speaker, listen to it from here. Because everybody has, with current modern technology, everybody has things under control on axis. But once you start moving radically off axis to where the wall reflections come from, then you kind of get an idea. If it works fine here, it sounds healthy here, most likely it will work in your room, in your current room as well as the next, as we say. Then one special trait about Krypton, which I think is especially good here for Florida, because you have a lot of very hard rooms, concrete walls, tiled floors, big windows. We actually feed outer phase energy from the vents. I mean, they are not cosmetic; they actually have a function, and turn the dispersion pattern into a cardioid
around, yes.
So we won't have any
Yeah.
reflections anymore.
Yeah, some speaker makers are realizing how that's important to create that cardioid
Yes.
pattern.
Actually, one thing, and which is also very, very important, at the crossover point, 1600 hertz, the length of the sound wave is actually longer than the distance between the center points of the drivers. So your ear cannot localize 2 or 3 driver combination. Or the separate drivers, but see, here's a 3 or 2 driver combination acting as one. So every Amphion, even if they don't look like that, work in a point source manner, which is of course the only correct way of reproducing
The
sound.
ideal, right?
Yeah, that's
Right,
the only correct way. There's
Yeah.
no 2 ways about it.
No, I take in-ear measurements, so I know exactly what you're talking about, how the human hearing, and how it's very important to get that part right. And how that can corrupt, because it's used for survival instincts, and usually when we listen to pianos, or it's hitting our pin a little bit different than 2 speakers shouting at us. So you being cognizant of that and considering that with driver complement and crossover is very, and that's what paid off in what I heard there.
Yeah.
So.
And also, I think it's very interesting especially for elderly people. Again, a few of them in Florida, is that when you get older, your hearing, the ears tend to have a little bit of imbalance. But when you are using a product that has a wide even dispersion, the better ear can actually compensate for the other side. But if you are using a pair of products, which actually I've heard a lot in this show also, that when you go to the side, you only hear left side,
Sure.
and not the combination of the two. Then it won't be. Then you kind of have issues with it. But and especially for human voices, naturally, this kind of way of doing a speaker where the driver integration is very good. It becomes natural, unfatiguing, and nice to listen to.
Yeah, well, these are impressive. How many other what's the line look like in terms of models? Is this the middle of the line, top
This
of
is the top. This is the
top of the line. Okay.
Top of the line, and then we have argons that I tend to refer as our sports cars, and then we have also a helium line, which is kind of a family car, if you wish.
Okay.
But in America at the moment, we're focusing on the argons
And these are true full range. You don't need a sub or anything.
21 hertz -3. So yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's full range.
That's
Yeah.
full range.
Yes.
And
All right.
as you noticed, the nice thing about was it's minimal treatment, but we still managed to get pretty decent performance out of the system, and that's what we want to do. Kind of present systems that people could have in their houses as well.
Right.
And because
You don't need to have a dedicated room with all these things.
and sound is a little bit way too precious to be kind of put in a dedicated listening room for the rich people. I think it should be for everybody.
Family room, yeah.
Create
Kids can enjoy it, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
And aesthetically, you've considered things, because this is it's form follows function, but yeah, with these dimples and the look, it's very attractive. So.
Yeah, we try to come with a timeless look, because The nice thing about a passive, high quality passive speaker is that it has a lifetime which is very long. I mean, when we're wrestling with the laws of acoustics and we don't put any DSP into it, it will not age. Not in my lifetime, not in my kids' lifetime. So you get, therefore it's important that it's actually timeless. I mean, funnily enough, the original design, of course we picked it a little bit, was made 25 years ago.
Wow. Okay.
So it is as timeless as it gets.
So y'all have a lot of pedigree in the industry and
Yes,
been around.
yes.
Well, I'm glad I got to hear them, and hopefully y'all will be at some other shows in the future. Because
Expona, you'll see us.
Expona.
Yes.
Okay. Well, great meeting you. Great demo. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.